I don't know if you have heard about the famous line and also the famous quote by Toyota, which says that in every car which is in front of you, it might be a Toyota or it is a Toyota. And this line is nothing but the truth, because most of the cars which we own and also which we meet in our day-to-day activities are Toyotas. And some of the cars which our family friends have or anybody else have are mostly Toyotas, because right now Toyota has been able to gain the largest share market in the world of the production of cars, and this was made possible by struggle and not being able to give up. And also it has been met by little fortunes which it has been able to occur on the path of Toyota, and that's why today we have the car brand which stands strong today and know it as Toyota. So I'll be telling you the story of Toyota and the journey of Toyota and what it took Toyota to be this big company which we know today. And at first, the shocking thing, Toyota didn't start as a car manufacturing company. It started as a textile manufacturing company which was producing textiles and also looms, which was able to advance in a car manufacturing industry, where it saw this as a future and also a future to the world. And that's when it was able to jump on the opportunity. And this story of Toyota was passed through generation, because the father passed it to the son, and the son was able now to expand it into what we know today as Toyota, and the car company which we know today. And the story of Toyota starts in Japan in 1867, where the father and also the person who made Toyota was born, and his name was called Toyota, and his name was called Toyota Sakaji Toyota. His name was called Sakaji Toyota, and at that time in Japan, his father was a carpenter, and if it was the strict traditionals which people were to use during that time, Sakaji Toyota would have become a carpenter. But at that time, the strictness and also the culture was a little bit diluted. And that's when now Sakaji was able now to go into the textile industry, where he was making looms and also loom machines, which were able to make textiles for clothes and also other things. And that's when later on he was also reading books of what was happening in England and what was happening in Europe. And that's when he was able to educate himself and able to gain knowledge of the outside world, and also have his passion on other industries like the textile industries and also the making machines. So Toyota first adventure and also first invention was him being able to make an electric loom machine, where it will be able to make the looms and also textiles electrically. And this was very good invention for the textile industry, and also the workers were very happy about this, what Toyota did. And after him being able to make this particular electric, it was he gained a lot of profits, because now people were able to double the production, and they were able to get the amount of money which they used to get as double. And it was a good thing for the workers during that time. And that's when somebody else in the later 1900s was able to produce a particular machine, which was a circular machine, but it was the same industry as the loom industry. And later on, after making that machine, the sales of what Toyota used to get now declined. Now Toyota was looking for another way to break into this particular industry, and also to have a breakthrough himself, because somebody else had already made a better thing than himself. That's when in 1925 he was able to make a particular automatic electric loom machine, where it will make these particular textiles without the intervention of anybody. And one thing about these automatic loom machines, they will be able to stop if any particular error was made. So they were not only automatic, but they also had some features in it which will be so helpful to the textile industry, because when the machine stop, when the particular type of needle or thread is broken, the clothes won't be made the wrong way, and also good clothes will only be assured to be made by these particular machines, because if not if less than the quality which is expected to be produced, then the machine will automatically stop because one of the needle is broken. And that's when now the Sakaji Toyota got a breakthrough about this particular machine, and he was able now to sell this machine later on in the years in Europe and also in England, because many people now sorted for this machine because it was earning a lot of people a lot of profits. And also the workers themselves, they didn't like this machine. This is one thing about the workers, because it took away most of their jobs, because nowadays they because it brought about the production to be so efficient, and also it didn't need any worker. It only needed one person to just supervise on that machine, and all the workers will just go. And also it was working for even during 24 hours shift, unlike the workers will work 12 hours a day, but this now machine was working for 24 hours. So it was a particular invention which was good for the market of textile industry. And that's now when Sakaji Toyota was now able to get money, where he was able to sell this particular machine to Europeans, and these Europeans were able to have a patent on this machine. If anyone uses the machine, they'll be able to pay the Europeans, and this money was able to now be able to start and also co-found the Toyota Motor Company. And this was done by his son later on in the years, because in 1930, unfortunately, Sakaji was able to die because of illness and also because of old age. And this company, now he left it to his son, but he had a vision of this company and also a dream of this company to become a motor company industry. And that's when now the son was able to change this particular company into a motor company, from a textile company into a motor company. And one thing about this textile company, one thing, they used to get profits during the World War One, when they were making weapons for the soldiers of Japan, and this brought a lot of profits to them, and this also propelled their company even more. So later on, after the company was able to be changed into the Toyota car manufacturing company, they were able to make their first model during in 1932, and their first model was Toyota AA, which the Toyota AA was basically a markup and also a copy of the Toyotas of the Ford industry, and also the Chevrolet industry, and also the Chrysler industry in United States during that time, because the Ford industry had already broken up about the United States by producing the Ford Model T, and also this was a leading brand in the United States. And also the car industry in the United States was very developed than any other part of the world, because most of the cars were coming from the United States, and also their level of production was very high compared to any other part of the world. And also there was a particular city in United States called Detroit, where those particular inventions was being shared over there. So that particular market also boosted the production of the United States, and that's what made the United States during that time to be the leading producer of cars. That's when now Toyota was borrowing some also parts from models of Ford and also Chrysler and also Chevrolet to make its own model of the Model A of the Toyota, which also got some familiarity and also got some fame on it. But it didn't also blow up so much, but at least it had a beginning to what their vision and also what their dream, what they had intended to have later on in the future. And that's when now later on in the years, the Toyota was also making other models like the Model A2 and also Model A1, where it was able to make nice cars, still the same design as the models like the Beetle models of Volkswagen. They had similar designs of the models which was in the European countries, because at that time they were very clueless of this particular industry. And the particular company was not very big to have its own inventions and also have its own plans to produce its own particular components of that particular car. So what Toyota basically did is it had to ask for other cars and also car components, like let's say engine parts, to assemble its own cars. So Toyota basically started by the determination and also leaning on other car companies, and this also propelled it later on into greater. And at that time, Japanese army also sorted for trucks for during the World War II, which also made a particular tender to acquire cars from the Toyota company. Now the Toyota company had that particular mandate to make cars for the government, and this was their first business boost to them, because now they had to make cars, and also they had people to purchase what they made. And these were the first cars which were purchased by the government during World War II, and also boosted their car production and also car production knowledge. And later on, after the World War II, although things were going very bad for them after the World War II, because their own also plant was able to be bombed during the World War II, and also it suffered a lot of loss, because during that time the government which was there during that time after the World War II was not favorable for them, because what they basically did, they used to control the price of the car components and also the car things which were being made of that cars, like the alloys which make the car. But when it comes to the prices of those cars, those particular companies and also the government during that time were able to control the price of the cars. So the price of the components of the which make the car will be, the government will make them expensive. But when Toyota now wants to make the car itself expensive, because the raw materials which it gets, it's expensive, now the government will intervene and stop Toyota from making its car being expensive. So if the government was controlling the price of cars but not the price of raw materials, so it was very unfair for them, and also they got into a lot of losses, and also it was a lot of struggle which they were going through. So in the 1952, at that time, they were having some economical challenges also, because they were laying off industrial workers, and also they were laying off people which were working for them, and also like managers. And this was a very downside for them, which led into strikes later on in the years, which these strikes also lasted for almost 6 months and also 1 year. It was very saddening for the company, and also the company future was looking to be very shallow, and it looked to be not going anywhere. So later on in 1952, the owner and also the son of the founder of Toyota was able to resign, and he resigned because he didn't see that he will be the one able to fit this particular car company, because the things which he had also innovated and also the troubles which the company was going through during his time were too much. And also what he decided to do is just to retire, to show some benevolence to the workers, that he's seen their pleas and also seen their cries. And also after retiring, the workers were able to cool down, and everybody went back to work normally, and also the production of cars now started booming again, because the car owner and also the founder of Toyota did was something which was so admirable for the workers, which made them to reconcile and come together so they can build a new Toyota car company. And that's when now, later on in the years of 1958, Toyota now got a particular, but before 1958, during 1930s to 1952, 1953, there was the Korean War, which made the US seek for cars from that particular Toyota company. And this also boosted their production a little bit, because these cars were the cars which the US wanted during that war were trucks, and this made the production of Toyota company also be boosted a little bit, because the US did not only want the production of cars also, but they wanted the servicing of their cars in the particular Korean War, and this added a lot of revenue for Toyota. And at this time in 1952, unfortunately, Sakaji, the owner of Toyota, which was called Toyota, the son of Sakaji Toyota, eventually died, and in 1952. And now later on in the years, they were struck by a fortunate thing which happened to them, because in 1958 they were able to get tenders for the government, which these particular tenders, they were able to have have the government requesting them to make taxis, and also they were requested to make police cars and also police wagons, which will be able to help the Japan government. And this is when now Toyota invented their famous car brand, which is the Toyota Crown. And now the Toyota Crown was able now to dominate the market of Toyota, because everything which the Toyota Crown was made from was originally being sought out into Japan. Nothing was imported out of Japan. Everything was just inside Japan, leave alone the other car production and also the other components and also the other car models which were being sought out from other cars like the Ford and also the Chrysler. This Toyota Crown was originally made in Toyota and also in Japan, and also this also made them popular because the type of body shape and also the type of car which it produced, it was their top model which it has ever produced, and this made it more popular and also added the revenue which they were receiving. And that's now when Toyota was now started becoming famous. And later on in the years of 1962 over there to 1968, it now started a new line of production, which was the Corolla. And this Corolla also made them also more famous. And now it's when now in 1962 they were able now to start a production. They started importing their cars also in the United States. And even before that, in 1958, when they made their Crown car, they also imported these particular cars into the United States. And one thing about during that years of 1972 over there, they also started uh, companies also in the United States and also in Mexico. And one thing also which also happened and also which helped and aided the car production company of Toyota is that during those times there was a difficulty in oil, and also many people were looking for cheaper cars which will be oil efficient, and this is when Toyota came to their help. And Toyota cars were very oil efficient and they were very productive, and also they gave out more mileage, and also the roads which Toyota had made those cars specifically were fit for rough roads and they were very long lasting, and this made their cars be even more sought out because Japan also during that time, the type of roads which were in Japan were very rough road if you compare them to America's road which were very smooth. So this is why also other and developing countries which were around the world like Africa and also countries all over the world like India, that's when now they started sorting for the Toyota models and also the Toyota cars. So that's the story of Toyota, and which we know today as the famous car brand. And later on in 2008, it became the largest production and also the producing car manufacturing company in the world. That happened in 2008, which it was able to overtake the leading manufacturer during that time, which was the General Motors. And that's what we know today as the Toyota. I hope you liked this story, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel. Till we meet next time.